what are common misconceptions, or what's the biggest myth that people think about P&C shops?
Cheap is better. Cheap is better. That's the biggest myth. Cheap is better. I can get this for less money. It's obviously better. No, you get what you pay for. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. And everyone's like, a policy is a policy is a policy. It's not. There are certain companies out there who are less expensive than others who have put conditions in their policy that actually remove some of the rights and privileges that the state has given you, but the state has blessed their policy, has allowed them to put it through, so it's legal. So where in one company you may have 2 years to submit a claim, and the other company you only have 1 or 6 months or 2 weeks. So all of these things I asked you earlier, when's the last, how do you like reading insurance?
I was just going to bring that up.
Nobody reads it. Yeah.
Nobody.
So I know of companies that I've lost business to, and I sit back and go, this is unfortunate. I feel bad about it because I feel like I failed the client because I didn't explain to them well enough that what they did was, instead of cutting their cost, they cut their protection. And what happens is, let's say it's something that people consider simple, like auto insurance. You're driving down the road, you hit somebody with your car, and next thing you know, the judge slams a gavel down and it's, $2 million. But your policy only has $100,000 in it. Did you save any money in that case? Not a dime. No.
Not a dime.
Beyond that, I think the other thing that the misconception is insurance agents cost more money. We are free. We don't cost a dime. We get paid a commission, typically, or there's a fee structure. One of those two. If you're an advisor, sometimes there's a fee structure. But as far as that goes, there's no real, outside of the insurance, there's no real cost. All of this knowledge, all of this stuff that you don't really want to amass. I don't want to be an accountant. I have no desire to understand what accountants do. It's magic. I just love that my accountant does it, and he does a great job at it.
Yep.
Same idea here. If you are an accountant or you are an engineer or whatever you are, you don't want to be an insurance agent. But if you don't work with one, you have to be one. You're on your own.
As soon as you started talking about the $2 million, but you only have 100,000, the very first thing I thought of is, well, I didn't read any 217 pages in that insurance contract. I just hit next until I e-sign everything I need to e-sign, because I can't be bothered to actually read it all.
Right. It's kind of funny for me. We'll go back for a second to going over to Iraq. They have something we call battle rattle, which was kind of fun. It's a big porcelain plate, bulletproof vest.
Okay.
Right? Helmet. And you're going over to a war zone, and I can look through and I watch some of the guys, and they were ignoring the briefing on how to put it on. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the one thing that stops you from, dying.
Yeah.
You think you'd want to pay attention at least for this part. And then I thought about it. I have a lot of clients, they don't even want to know the ins and outs of their policy, which is not a bad thing as long as they're working with me, because I know the ins and outs and I'll help them when they need it. But if you bought a policy through whomever.com, the lieutenant, and there is no lieutenant, I'm just not allowed to say other companies' names, but you know who I'm talking about, the lieutenant. You bought your policy through the lieutenant, and if you don't read it, how do you know you're wearing it right?
All right, so this may sound like an odd question, but
okay.
I wrestle with this, and I think you and I are very similar as far as work ethic goes, and always having something to do. But aside from being physically or mentally incapable of working, do you think you'll ever 100% retire and stop working? I ask myself, because I get bored. Don't tell my wife this, but I get bored on a 2-week vacation. We're in Hawaii for our honeymoon. I'm a white Irish guy. Me sitting outside in the sun, sweating and burning my skin, it's not enjoyable. I get bored. I just need something to do. So I like to ask people that question, because I'm wondering, is it just me, or is it a type A personality thing?
Right. It's a good question. And I like the fact on a recording, you're brave enough to say that your wife is boring. That's exciting. Good for you. You are a brave man.
Next time we do this, I will might have a different situation.
So I can't stop working. You can't start working at age 10 and ever really find a place to stop. So I have a plan. I've got the goal of the 16 agencies. That's on there. That's on the thing. I'm okay with shifting goals. I'm okay with shifting plans. I've got multiple different directions. If you're keeping track, worms, baling hay, body piercing, nursing, Air Force.
They're all intertwined somewhere.
I also failed to mention I got my degree in theater, used to work in theater in New York for a little while. There's a lot of layers there, but nowhere in there did I miss any of my goals. So right now, I have a goal of owning eventually 16 agencies. If I own them, that's awesome. But I also have a goal to become an instructor, a professor of insurance. I know of different schools where I could go to and become an instructor. I could sell my practice,
Yep.
be an instructor, and be working anywhere I want in the country as I see fit, teaching people how to do this stuff. It's all going to depend ultimately on my kids. Because right now I have an amazing, something of serious value that I can give to my children that can set them up. They're 4 and 7. I don't know if they want to be insurance agents yet. They don't know. They won't know for years. But it wouldn't be right of me to sell the agency or move on to something else until I know whether they want it or not. But let's say they wake up and they're 23 years old and they both finally decided, nope, one's an attorney and the other one is a jazz musician. That's fantastic. I don't care which is which, but they're both satisfied. They're both happy. They're not going to make a change. At that point, I'm done doing what I'm doing right now. I'm going to either step back and let my agency run as it runs, or I'm going to become a professor. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to teach other people how to do it. I'm not allowed to be that professor that I want to be and own an agency at the same time. It's a conflict of interest. So at that, I'll have to sell my ownership. But yeah, I'm not going to stop working. I'm just going to change how I'm doing it. That's all.